Hello, you're listening to Hibs Talk. I'm your host as always, Gav. Joining me today is Dave.
Alright.
And Craig.
Alright.
Nice and ready to talk into the mic there, Dave.
I went on my phone.
Professional.
Aye. How you doing today, Craig? We'll start with you since Dave's obviously not ready.
Good, mate, aye. Nice to
I'm
actually
ready
be
now.
doing it in person
Aye.
for the first time.
I know we've always been having you on the phone, but no, it's good having you in person. Although it's we've just been chatting more about Hibs and get distracted. We're meant to start recording like an hour ago, but
Travelling all the way west, it's a bit out of my comfort zone, but
Dave, how you getting on?
I'm not bad, mate, thank you.
Good.
How are you?
It's the first time you've asked.
I know. I was going to say, you never get asked.
No, I'm good. A bit of a conversation to kind of get started. News kind of broke that on Sunday, I think it was, that, no major surprise to us. I don't know why it's a big surprise to the Glasgow papers, that Heckingbottom won't have full control over transfers. We've always kind of known that's the setup with Hibs. Why? You can answer this question whichever way he's like. One, are you surprised by that? Or two, why are the Glasgow papers so surprised by that? And then the third question, I guess, would be, is it right? So starting with the first one, Dave. What's your thoughts?
I think they're just going with it because we're kind of like a hot talking point now. That's what everybody's talking about is the Hibs and Hibs coaching. That's why they'll be going with it, even though Hibs fans and that are well aware of how we've been running for years since Leanne came in. It was the same under the last manager, so why would it be any different now? The way Leanne speaks is Hibs have got a model and the manager needs to come in and fit that model rather than us completely change your philosophy of the way the club's run for someone else. I'm fine with that.
Craig, what's your thoughts? There's rumours that it might have been, as well as all the stuff the Sun reported on, it might have been a thing that Appleton wanted to work under a different structure and the club are kind of not willing to do that. Whether that's true or not is a different thing, but are the club right to stick by the structure of having all the right people in terms of the big recruitment team and the head of youth development and all that sort of stuff, and let the head coach be a head coach that works with the players and has a bit of say? Or would you rather see a manager come in and have more of a hands-on approach with transfers?
no, I think it's good that the club for once have got a structure in place where the guy coming in has to work, like Dave says, work within the structure the club's got in place. Too often in the past we went from somebody like John Collins, who was ball on the deck, passing it, zipping it about, to Mixu, who was more direct, and the players that were there didn't fit that, whereas the players now are identified through whatever means and they're brought in to work within that specific structure. I would say that there was probably a big difference in the way that Stubbs and Lennon actually played the game, but the majority of the players were the same, especially when you look at the back four. The point about the papers picking up on it, I don't get, because the Daily Record done a 20-minute piece on Hibs last year. Went in with George Craig, Graham Matthew. This is the way we want it. Leanne said when she came in they wanted a first team player, a reserve player and a 20s player for each position. Whether that's not really came to fruition yet, but we're seeing with guys like Sean Mackey now breaking through, the structure that was implemented at the start for Dempster and George Craig and Graham Matthew starting to pay off a wee bit. So I'm happy with the way that the club works. It means that there's continuity. When Lennon goes, you identify somebody who works within that same remit. Heckingbottom seems to be able to get players cheaper and has a big emphasis on youth development, which is something that, I think Hibs fans especially really like seeing, the ones our own, as we like to call them, coming through.
And Robbie Stockdale spoke about that last week when he was doing his interview. He sort of said, like you said, about them going to be, a hard-working team and attacking minded. And, in the past, the Barnsley team and stuff, it gave youth a chance with some really good experienced players around them. Dave, you happy by the sounds of that? Seeing, we've always been promoting youngsters, but knowing that we've got a manager that's done that in the past and is keen to continue doing that at Hibs, you're quite happy to see more youngsters coming through? Seems like a really obvious question, of course you are, but still.
Aye, because it's a good way for the club to get money. Like, at the end of the day, we need the income, we need to sell on players, and as much as we like to retain our youth and that, we will need to sell on players if we're going to be able to compete and keep competing. And aye.
So, final bit I've got, I guess this is kind of news, but it's more about the Hamilton games, so that I'll then lead into talking about the Hamilton game. Club legend Mickey Weir was talking about how he felt that Heckingbottom got the team selection right, going for the same team that had beat Wraith Rovers. He thinks, given a bit of time, we might see Heckingbottom impose his own system and change the lineup a bit more. But in terms of the Hamilton game, we felt the team selection right, and chances are we'll see the same team against Den. So starting with the team selection then for the Hamilton game, did you, Craig, do you feel that we got the team right?
I would say so. The back four, when they're fit, pretty much pick themselves at the moment, with Porteous being out. The midfield were a bit hamstrung in terms of, for the new head coach wanting to play fast attacking football, it's a bit difficult to do that with one winger.
Yeah.
So we're a bit hamstrung with that in terms of Boyle and Agupong being out. But I think the team was much of a muchness, really. I was quite, when you see the team come out before it, I was a wee bit dismayed that neither Omiyonga or Biggery Mana got a start. I thought they would have, in training at least, would have shown enough to maybe get a start, given they've both been on the periphery since they've came in. But going with Slivka and Milligan was a sensible choice. I think it's a really sensible team for the manager. He's only had 2 days with them, not really got enough time. He could probably do bits and, this is how we're going to press, this is how we're going to play, etc. But in terms of keeping the personnel the same, I thought it was a really smart decision. Lets him evaluate the squad without making too many rash changes at once.
Yeah. I know, Craig hit there about the fact that we're struggling with wingers, with Boyle and things like that at the minute. Dave, what was your thoughts on Malin playing out on the right?
I suppose it makes sense because he doesn't really do much through the middle. I don't think he's got the work rate to be through the middle. No physical enough either. So the fact that he's got quite a good delivery, then he put the ball in the box a bit more. So and he was putting the ball in the box more. So he's only put more crosses in a match once this season. That was against Hearts, and that's all we were doing was lumping the ball forward. So it's good to see.
Yeah. So in terms of going through some of the chances, Canberra had a chance earlier on. McNulty took the ball down, ball forward from David Gray, and before we get to the chance, Craig, does it think that shows that with taking the ball down well, taking on the man and getting the cross in, do you think that shows that McNulty's more than just a goal poacher?
I would say so. And the thing with McNulty is he's not really got a point to prove. McLaren came in last season a bit of an unknown quantity, but had that carrot dangled of a World Cup place. McNulty's not really got that. He's not a Hibs fan, but he's an Edinburgh boy. A lot of his pals are either Hibs fans or Hearts fans, so he gets what it would mean to play for Hibs, and he's just a guy who needs some football. And I'm surprised at how quick he is.
Yeah, no, he's very sharp.
I think over a 10-15 yards, he's actually got such a decent burst of pace.
And considering he's hardly played football since October, it's
And the fact he's gradually, he'll get that match fitness as well, so he'll be able to do that instead of doing it for a minute burst here and there and maybe staggering it every 15-20 minutes that he'll doing it. He'll be able to get into a rhythm where it's like second nature. I think the partnership with him and Canberra is showing some decent signs already. Different for the McLaren one, where, like you say, McLaren's the penalty box goal poacher, whereas McNulty, I think, will do a lot more in and around the box as well.
Yeah. The chance itself, it came to Canberra, and Dave, do you think it's fair to say that he just couldn't get out his feet?
Oh, aye. I was like, what is this, the start of the treble opportunity? Aye. I still think he probably should have scored. He had a wee bit more confidence, he probably would have, but he just got caught on his feet.
Yeah. And then rebounds, Malin, it's blocked, and then Milligan just goes past the post. So I think Malin a bit unlucky, and Milligan not really known for his goal scoring. So Marciano next had made a save, but spilt it, managed to gather the ball, obviously spilt it against Aberdeen. Craig, a bit worry you, that's 2 home games in a row he's kind of had spills like that. He managed to recover for this one, but obviously against I'd say better forwards, May and Gary Mackay-Stevens were able to follow up on it. Is it something he's got to work on?
I think so. I'm a massive fan of Marciano. I've liked him since he came in, and given the choice between him and Bogdan, I'd choose Marciano. But he does seem a bit too laid back at times. Even in his approach during the game, he's Like, even if we're drawn quite late on, there doesn't really seem to be any urgency from him. So it could be a lack of concentration at times. Obviously, in games like Saturday, they're not going to get many chances, so you need your keeper to be on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a wee bit of... I still think he is a bit too laid back at times. And you can see that, like, when I say about concentration levels, that one which should be an easy take for a keeper, he's spilling it.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a bit of a cause for concern, but I think the rest of his attributes make up for a perceived lack of concentration at times.
Dave, just quickly, in terms of the whole Marciano and Bogdan thing, I mean, we don't know anything in terms of Bogdan, but Hibs can approach him and offer him a contract because his contract with Liverpool's up in the summer. There's been no word of anything that happened or any talk of that happening. If he isn't going to, if he's saying, no, I'm going to go somewhere else, should Hibs be, Marciano's a number one and really sticking with him, or should they be, if Bogdan's still the better keeper, should Bogdan be playing?
Well, I'm Team Bogdan.
Team James.
There we go. That's
There you
what
go.
we needed.
Different set of opinion, but I genuinely am. He's distribution, and that's better.
Right.
And I think you've seen him into 1-on-1s. I just think he's a better goalkeeper, which is weird because I really do like Marciano, and when Bogdan came in, I wasn't happy because I thought he looked a wee bit shaky. But
Well, mind he gave the goal near opposite against Asteris at his near post in the first couple of minutes.
Yeah. We could go through things
I know.
Marciano's done. Like,
I know.
Marciano's kicking, man, it's dreadful. Like, nah. So I personally prefer Bogdan, but I think that he won't stay. He won't sign a contract with Hibs if Marciano's going to be number one, or if he doesn't start getting game time towards the end of the season. He'll be away. He'll want to be a number one somewhere.
He's on about 20 grand a week at Liverpool as well.
Yeah.
So if we're going to be serious about signing him, he's going to have to take a massive wage cut, but also pretty much be, if you're fit, you're in goals.
Yeah. Nah, definitely.
You can't have a goalie, and I mean it's a good problem for us to have that we've got two keepers of that quality, two international goalkeepers. Rather that than having Marciano, like we did last season, and when he was out, we had Ross Laidlaw. Nothing against Laidlaw, but it's a completely different standard if you've got somebody like Bogdan, or if one's, they've both been unfortunate that when one's been on form, they've got injured and the other one's came in. Bogdan, that game against Rangers, saved it for being like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
It could have been an absolute hammering.
No doubt, both of them are really good goalkeepers. I think we're in a really fortunate position. So
We've got two number ones rather than a number one and number two.
and that's where it should be. So
Yeah.
we'll be interested to see what happens. My own opinion, I think Bogdan will go to like America or something like that and get a big money move.
Or a big like top end championship club, I think.
Something like that. Anyway, so Hibs opened the scoring. Who scored the goal? Dave?
Canberra.
Canberra? Craig?
Horgan.
Aye, I'm going Horgan. I think it was Horgan.
Nah, I think he got a touch in it. I think the way he runs off and celebrates, I know all strikers are selfish and that, right? But I bet a brass neck if he's no touched that, knowing that a camera could quite easily pick up on it.
Did they not say it came off his stud?
Well, there you go then. You calling him a liar?
But if it's gone in, it's still Horgan's goal.
Aye.
Because if it's they say with own goals, as long as it's on target, if
I
it
bet-
takes a deflection, it goes in. It's still classed as the
Aye.
player who hits the shot.
Aye, but the strikers attempted to hit the ball though. Canberra's attempted to go for that.
I don't think he's even touched it with his
Nah.
stud. I think
I
he's
think he
missed
has.
it altogether.
Like
Aye,
Scott
goes.
Brown's, that's not an Alex Bruce own goal. That's a Scott Brown goal.
Aye.
Even though it was it even gone in or no? We don't know. But it's been given as a Brown goal. The same applies if it's your own player that hits it.
So was Horgan shooting or crossing?
Oh, it was a cross.
Shot.
It's definitely. I'm telling you, Canberra.
Right.
It's been Gina the Canberra goal, so I'm right and you're
Okay,
actually
that's
wrong.
fine.
So you're just.
Horgan's delivery. Dave, you've been a big critic of Horgan this
Yeah.
season. What was your thoughts on his performance and his deliveries?
His delivery was fine with his right foot, so you've got to ask the question: is it maybe better playing the right than now? Give him a wee run out in it, but if you're not wanting him cut back all the time, because cutting back against better teams doesn't work, because they all know what he's going to do.
Aye.
And then give him a shot on the right until Boyle comes back and see what happens. But it's one of them. It's the exact same thing. He's not going to play there next season because Boyle will be there. So
What was your thoughts on Horgan's performance?
I thought he'd done really well. I mind it was his first game Aberdeen. Was
It
it the
was in
Aberdeen
the-
game where we drew 1-1?
His
when
first league
McLaren
game.
scored in the last minute. That was
Aye.
one of his first games, and even now I'm still not quite sure what is his strongest foot. I would probably err on the
It's
side
his
of
right,
caution and saying
yeah.
that it's his right, but he does have that ability that he does seem to be completely two-footed, and I think he's suffered a lot from the Lennon, whatever's happened with Lennon. There's been talk about, the Lennon Canberra issues. Has he maybe been one that suffered for it as well? He was in the team, he was out the team, he was playing. Lennon wanted to play him as a attacking midfielder.
at times.
He's no an attacking
So you
midfielder.
think a run of games on the left wing, sort of get used to the position, you'll
Yeah.
be fine. We'll see him
And-
flourish.
like Dave was saying, putting him on the right would maybe be good, but keeping him on the left, there is that area of unpredictability where he can. I think at the moment he's cutting inside because he's maybe a wee bit low on confidence. Whereas he does have that ability where he could face a defender up and he could go down the left hand side and whip it in with his left, or he can chop back and cut it in with his right. No, a lot of wingers in Scotland have got that gift. When you look at Mackay Steven, you know what Mackay Steven's going to do every single time. He's going to edge forward, cut in. Whereas Horgan's got the ability, I think, to do both. He could cut in, or he could go down the wing and get a cross in. So, but no, I thought. Long story short, I thought he had quite a good game on Saturday.
See his goal against Wraith, that was his left foot, wasn't it? Aye, and he rifled that. So I maybe see where you're coming from, but then he's 1-1 against Motherwell at Fir Park, and he tries to hit it, lob the keeper with outside his right foot, and it was easier just to put it round on with his left. It's like, what are you doing? Like,
And there was a couple of times where he kind of got past the defender, had no option but to cross it with his left foot, and it went straight at play.
aye. When I watch him, like, he put the ball in the box there on Y Scouts, his 8 crosses, only 2 were successful, but there were quite a lot of dangerous crosses. But there were the dangerous ones in my memory from actually watching the game were from his right foot.
I mean, I know a couple of them didn't connect, but they were definitely dangerous.
Yeah.
In terms of crosses overall, we changed to the 4-4-2. Had Malin out there delivering more.
It was obviously an instruction for Heckingbottom. Like, we were getting the ball forward a bit quicker. It was definitely a lot less pedestrian passing about the back, and obviously that's shown because we average like 18 crosses a game. We hit 24 in the box that game there, so maybe an instruction. That's what you could see for that. Even though we've maybe no changed the 11. The first time this season we've went to a back-to-back 11, the same 11. It's not happened at all.
Whole season.
And anything.
That can't be right.
Telling you.
Whole season.
That is right.
You could probably say that without.
I went back.
Lennon never names the same 11.
Nope. I went back every single game, typed it in and looked. Never the same 11.
We think about how many times we played with the 3 and then went to the 4.
Yeah.
And then Bartley was in, Milligan was in, Slivka was in and out.
The most we played any formation, it says on Y Scouts, like 36%. So we chop and change it all the time. So.
And our big period of success from January until May, we were playing 5-3-2 with the back 5, Boyle at right back, McGinn, McGee, Allen, Canberra, McLaren.
You could name it
every single week. It was the exact same. So we've not had that since the end of January.
No.
That's over a year.
That's what I said. And then we can all rock up and have a drink before the game and that, and we're like, what do you think the team's going to be the day? We'll all guess, and we'll all can be wrong sometimes. It's just totally.
Well, maybe that's something that's going to change. Next thing up was the penalty. Was that a penalty?
Oh, Stonewaller.
Right, definitely a penalty. Don't know what the boy was doing.
I still maybe if it's given against you, you're a wee bit aggrieved, but I still don't think that the guy can have any complaints. The ball's away and he's completely just wiped David Gray out.
Why?
I don't know. No idea why.
It was a strange one.
He used to play for Hearts. That should be the explanation enough.
He's been coached under Cathro, so that'll kind of sum up his intelligence. Penalty. Dave, we obviously last week had the fans bet enhanced. Hibs to win by 2 or more goals, which came in, and Malin to score any time. Malin grabbed the ball for the penalty, and you and me got really excited.
Aye, because I had a tenner on it. And then McNulty owes me 50 quid. So last week we had you owing me $12.90, and this week it's McNulty 50.
It's always somebody else's fault with you.
It is.
In terms of the second half, it was kind of just sort of seeing the game out. I think it's fair to say. Any sort of specific chances that you would like to mention?
We had Omeongo off the post. That was a pretty decent strike, I suppose. Kind of caught everyone off guard. I thought he was going to swing it in. He hit it.
And Shaw's chance.
Oh, that was for Malin as well.
Malin,
Was it Dane?
Shaw had made a really good run. It was 2 times I think he made really good bursts and counter-attacking runs. And what was your thoughts on that, Craig? Should he have? Obviously, should have done better. But I mean, how much I word this?
You should have squared it back to Malin.
Aye.
Malin, he tried to cut back and do something. I don't know what he tried to do. See if he just squared it to Malin. I had 50 quid.
Aye, and it was 2 or more goals, so both bets were to come in.
No, the first one came in anyway, so it's fine.
Aye. Okay, so I mean, individual performances. I mean, Canberra is claiming the goal. What was your kind of thought, Craig? What was your thoughts on Canberra's performance?
I thought he done well.
Yeah,
I think him and McNulty, like I said, are showing a wee bit signs of a partnership for him, and you can tell that there's been a massive weight lifted off Canberra's shoulders with Lennon not being there, because you could see like digging him out, the digging him out when maybe Laddie was the mascot for the St Mirren game and he took him off after 50 minutes and replaced him with Slivka. You could tell something's not right. And there was just something that was there. He was the one that was getting dug out in the press. There was also a lot of clamour to get him back in the summer, marquee signing, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
So he did deserve a little bit of it, but some of it went too far, and that clearly was affecting his performances as well. So it looks like with Heckingbottom, the change in a wee bit of style, getting more balls in the box. They had that one where he was unlucky that it came off the bar.
Aye, hit the bar as
but
well.
I don't think Canberra 6 weeks ago would have even challenged for it. He would have just probably stood there and
hoped for a defender's mistake.
hope for a defender to knock it down or something else. But I thought he had a good enough game.
Slivka, Dave, Craig mentioned him there, obviously kind of coming on, but what was your thoughts on Slivka?
That was probably his best game that I've seen him have.
Aye.
Well, he got man of the match as well, so it was justified. But playing in the middle with Milligan probably helped, because Milligan was there sweeping all up and that. And
when was the last time we played a flat 4-4-2?
don't know, but that's what Heckingbottom said. He was like, he wanted to keep it simple,
Mm-hmm.
and how more simple can you get than the most basic formation in football?
It seemed to really, with Milligan sitting, it seemed to really benefit Slivka playing that right central midfielder role that kind of just burst forward and stuff. So
yeah.
Milligan as well. I mean, done the defensive duties well. Quite a few key interceptions and stuff. So
just tidy.
Yeah.
Everyone was quite simple. There was less. We were getting the ball forward faster, but it was through the midfield as well. Like, we were using Malin, and Malin was like, Davy Gray was overlapping, and you seen Horgan overlapping with Stevenson, and
we weren't going back to front.
no, it wasn't Hanlon hoofing it forward to Canberra, like you said. Like, hoofing it to Canberra does absolutely nothing.
Aye.
Actually, there's a stat he wins 1 in every 4 headers, Canberra. That's an actual stat. That's no good enough.
You know about the stats these days.
I know, it's that Y Scout. You get addicted to it. You just sit down and you're like, yeah, I'm Gary Neville. You just sit and look at it by. The only thing about Canberra is his work rate in that's class, and he is obviously going to getting a bit more confident, but sometimes his second touch is a tackle. So I think that's one thing that he does need to work on, is his touch.
Yeah. And I mean, something that Lennon wasn't a fan of was extra training sessions. Hopefully Heckingbottom is, and Heckingbottom can say, look, you need to work on your first touch. Here's a player, we're just going to start pinging loads of balls at you and just work on it and get better. It's no hard. Just simple things in football. So hopefully back to more basics.
Well, Dave, what we done is bounce, just kick a ball for what?
Aye, just do it yourself.
Missy.
Aye.
Why? Play
What'd
Missy
you- wait,
one
what-
touch. I called it Missy.
Missy.
Like, you can't
call it?
you can't miss the wall. No, like
Aye,
he's in Missy, like he's in the wee lassie.
Aye. We
Aye.
called it shapes.
Alright.
Shapes or bungy.
Shapes doesn't make any sense.
I know. I didn't ken-
I
it's
just
just-
call it
that's-
shapes. There was something else we called it. I can't remember what it was.
That's just something fate as a bairn. You heard the older laddies calling it shapes, so you just naturally called it shapes. And then when I moved to a different part of Edinburgh, it became bungy.
Oh, I'm going with Missy.
Weird. Missy. I've
Missy or
never heard Missy.
Nah, me neither.
There you go. Just a reminder, folks, that the next Working Together meeting with the fans reps is on the 25th, so that's next Monday. It's at the West Stand reception at Easter Road Stadium, 6:30pm. Check Tracy and that's Twitter in case it gets changed to 7, but usually 6:30pm. come along, discuss any current Hibs issues. I think the two main things that they're kind of talking about just now is the look of Easter Road and what ideas for things that can be done, and also the behind the goals. So if you've got any ideas for that or any other issues at the moment, come along, discuss some with other Hibs fans and with the fans rep. Should be a productive night. Right, we're going to chat the Dundee game, but first we heard from Gary from Walking Down the Provi Road pod, who gave a Dundee perspective. So, how are you doing today, Gary?
Yeah, not bad. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, good.
Good, mate. Cheers.
Thanks, mate. Good. 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 Aye, I'm good. Aye.
So, first question we've got for you is in regards to transfers and outgoings. Obviously, Glenn Kamara had signed a pre-contract with Rangers, and then I think it was on transfer deadline day, made the move permanent. How's that impacted the Dundee team?
It's an odd one because if you'd said to me in the summer, how would you react if Glenn Kamara left, I would have broken down in tears because he was so vital to our play last season. But this season, a few things happened which maybe meant that he wasn't as big a loss as he would have been. I think one was obviously losing Neil McCann as manager. He was the guy who brought in Kamara, had a lot of faith in him. And you could see from the minute that we appointed Jim McIntyre that it just wasn't quite going to work. Part of that, I think, was because Kamara's contract was coming to an end this season anyway. So we were pretty much resigned to losing him at the start of the season when he was dragging his heels a wee bit in contract negotiations. So since Jim McIntyre came in, I should know this off the top of my head, but it was about October, November time, Kamara was gradually dropping out of the team. And then obviously his pre-contract with Rangers was announced, and from that moment on, I think people just wanted him gone. Not out of badness, but just because it was obvious that he was going to Rangers, and what was the point in him taking up a space that somebody else could use? So I think last season it would have been a huge miss, but I know that we'll come on to talk about the changes since we've last played Hibs. The number of changes mean that it was just one of many things that happened in January for us, which has totally transformed the way that we're playing.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that you hinted at the changes there. One of those changes, like we say, the last time we played you was one of Jim McIntyre's first games. He was still finding his feet at the time. He's obviously in the door now and made changes in January. What can Hibs fans expect to be different from the last time we played you?
I think we've got we're a much faster team now, a much more direct team. It's a traditional Jim McIntyre team. So when he first played Hibs at Easter Road in the 2-2 draw, he was working with the players that Neil McCann had signed. And just to give you an idea of the change that you're going to see, I think only two of the players that started against Hibs back in, I think it was November, will probably start. So that'll be Kasunga and Martin Woods. Other than that, it's totally new team. So under McCann and to begin with under McIntyre as well, we could switch anything between a back three, so a 3-5-2, a 4-2-3-1, 4-4-2. It was just rolling the dice, trying to think anything that worked, and more often than not, it didn't work. But now what we've got is just your traditional 4-4-2. So the difference is we've now got a fairly settled starting 11. And it's all about just getting the ball to the full-backs, go get it to the wingers, go then take it forward, drive forward with it, maybe switch it up with long balls to Craig Curran, who, for anyone that's followed Scottish football knows he is just able to put himself about. He really puts in a shift. Your centre-backs will know that they've been playing against him. He's not a big goal scorer, but the big goal-scoring threat for us at the moment is Andy Nelson. We signed him in January on a 2.5-year deal from Sunderland. He was at Falkirk last season, I think, on loan. He's only 21, and there's no one thing that he does really well. But he's just a good striker. He's pretty lethal. He is a wee bit injury prone, and he did go off against Livy early at the weekend. So the big call will be whether or not he plays, and that will really affect my prediction whether or not he's playing.
Aye, so mate, what do you think the score will be on Friday night then?
If I'm being positive, I would say 2-1. The reason I'm saying that is that if you have a look at the games we've got left before the split, we do not have a lot of games where we can be really positive. Obviously, you guys have now got a new manager in place, so that might give you a bit of a bounce. But for us, the other games we've got are Hearts, Aberdeen, Celtic, Rangers, and we've got St Mirren and St Johnstone as well. So the clock's ticking away, the fixtures are falling away, and we still need to get points on the board because we're still battling Accies. If Nelson doesn't play, I would be very concerned about what we're going to do, because Craig Curran's not really a goal scorer, and he and Kenny Miller, who's been coming off the bench for Nelson in recent weeks, don't really seem to work that well together. So it's a hopeful 2-1 if Nelson's playing. If he's not, I'd take a draw right now. We're although our new goalie Seny Dieng is really good, he's confident coming out for the ball, and he's a good shot stopper as well. He's still not kept a clean sheet yet, and I can't see us keeping a clean sheet against Hibs, but hopefully I can see us continuing a good goal scoring run at the moment.
Alright, well, we're hopeful it'll be a good game. Well, we've got a lot of Hibbies heading up for a Friday night game, so thank you very much for taking the time to come on and chat about the game and give Hibs fans a bit of insight to what to expect in terms of the Dundee team.
No worries, and say good luck, but I wouldn't mean it. So we'll see what happens on Friday.
You wouldn't get us wishing you good luck either.
Magic. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
So we heard from Gary there about Dundee. How are you guys feeling about the game? Well, they've obviously looked into. He spoke quite a bit about Dundee. What's your guys' thoughts on the game?
My only thought is that, and I'm sure I done the show before we played Dundee last time, and I said the only thing that you can guarantee is that Kenny Miller will score. And I'm going to say the exact same thing again. Even though he was saying that Miller's been tending to come off the bench more recently, doesn't matter. Kenny Miller always finds a way to score against Hibs. Whether he's at Rangers, whether he's at Dundee, whether he's at Celtic, he done it. So that's my only prediction.
Can we maybe get a wee boost on that fans bit? Kenny Miller to score, but
Yeah.
Hibs to win.
I know we've not had a chance to speak to David yet, so Kenny Miller to score.
So
Hibs to win.
guarantee it. I wish I'd have put money on it the last time. I wish I'd put money on it every time.
That'd be a good one. Right, we'll get in touch with David about that and get that sorted out. So watch out for the tweets about that next week. That's all the promo we're doing
Soft
this week.
plug. That's right.
So I mean, their last game, Dave, was against Livy. How did you feel they played?
I've only seen highlights, but I've also heard what people were saying, and they were humming the first half. They were not very good at all. And then second half they played much better.
Humming. They were humming.
Aye.
Aye.
Like stinking. Aye. Would you not say that word either? There's loads of words that I say and you didn't.
That's fine.
Do you say bread or breed?
Bread.
No, I say breed. I'm for too far west.
Aye, far too far.
Yeah, so you felt they didn't play that well, and from what you've heard, it wasn't the best performance from them.
No.
But still managed to come out with the...
Scored an absolute
Aye.
story of a free kick.
Aye.
Tap in. Like,
He's quite a good player, that Scott Wright, the boy for
Yeah.
boy for Aberdeen.
Aye, and I mean it's fair to say they've done some good business in January. I mean I completely missed it. Ryan McGowan. What's the name? Not Ryan McGowan.
McGowan's the one we had.
Aye.
McGowan's the one they've got.
the
Yeah.
Hertz one.
Aye, that
No.
went under the radar. That's a good signing for them. Or well, it was last time he was up in Scotland. I don't know what he's been up to the last few years.
Last time he was in
Australia.
Scotland, he was relegated with Dundee United.
No,
wasn't he?
no.
Was he?
Aye,
Aye.
good. Aye.
Sure, he was part of the team that got relegated.
All right.
He's
Under-
just one of them that
Again,
just,
probably one that's went under the radar for me.
pops up everywhere. Made
Just-
his money in China. Now he's just flitting about where he can get a game.
Aye.
just lives off that cup final. That's
Oof.
the thing that he's best friends
No mentioning that.
with. And then when he was at the World Cup, that's how obsessed he is with Hibs. He done the whole 5-1 thing when he was doing a throw-in. But it's nice to think that you're playing the World Cup, mate, and you're thinking about us. Thank you.
It's like these boys that didn't join in huddles that have got a connection with Rangers. Have you seen that?
We played with a boy that done it.
It happened at Star Sixes.
That
was
oh no, you were telling me about that boy.
Aye.
Sat in the middle and a half.
Like, oh, you're like Scott Brown then. Oh, you wouldn't know like that.
Aye.
It was you that said that. Eh?
Yeah.
But yeah, so score predictions for the game then.
2-1 Hibs.
Right, I'm gonna go 3-1 Hibs. Craig,
Well, I can't go 2-1. I can't go
you
3-1.
can go 2-1 if you want.
Kenny Miller's got to score. I'll go a draw.
He's not coming back.
I don't know what to say, but
No,
Actually, no, do you
fine.
know
It's a
what?
protection. It's fine. It's
Do you know what? We tend to play well on bigger pitches, and Dens Park's quite not necessarily a long pitch, but it's quite wide.
Mhm.
And if we can move the ball left to right quickly and get it forward quickly, actually, I'll go repeat the last time we played there, 3-0.
Good stuff.
So the guy who predicted Kenny Miller's going to score no
Okay.
score.
Aye, he's got to score. It'll be a draw. Aye, 3-0.
So finish up the day. We got some questions from you guys. So first is just on Twitter the day. At Liam Riley _ has said, "What's the pod's opinion on Slivka this season / in general? Seems to be showing his potential after a run of games. I mean, we spoke about him against Hamilton. Hamilton, maybe his best game. We're kind of touching this a bit, but overall, it's form this season, and now he's got run of games. Craig,
I like him. I do like Slivka. I've liked him for the moment he took it on his knee and rifled it in at the bottom corner at Ibrox.
Yeah, I think that bottoms a lot of time and a lot of chances.
But there's like Dave was saying, having him in a 2 with Milligan as the sitter lets him just go and play his game. That's his for me. That's his best position. And he was unfortunate last season that he couldn't have dropped McGeoch or McGinn to fit him in. You know, he was in when one of them wasn't available, or it was maybe a change of system. The game that he was, you said you thought Saturday was his best game.
Mhm.
Up until he went off, I thought his game against when we played Celtic when he scored was his best game. I thought he was excellent. His use of the ball. He's such a technical player as well, and having somebody like Milligan in beside him that's a bit of steel. You could swap Milligan out for Bartley, I think, in that area, and he would be the same. But as he's, what was it? Was it a 3 or 4 year deal? He got 3.
3-year deal, I think.
3. So he's halfway through it now, and I think for him, you know, we've talked about Canberra, how it'll be a weight off his shoulders. I think we'll start to see the best of Slivka now with Heckingbottom as well. I really like him.
I hope so as well, because he's one of the players that I've probably given more chances than anybody. Like, I would normally get on folks' backs and that, but the goal at Ibrox did help. And I think you can just see that there's something there, and I think everybody forgives the fact that he was playing right mid and he was playing wing back in that a couple of games, and just bizarre. And I think there's that bit of understanding there. But when he plays in the middle, you can just tell he's got a bit of class about him.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned the victory versus Celtic there. Somebody else that had a really good game that day was Malin, when he played that defensive midfield role and sort of sprayed the passes and stuff. And we spoke about that before, how the next game he was kind of found out a bit and Rangers just put pressure on him. But the next question was from Stephen Scott. What does Stevie Malin offer to the side? Genuine question.
Free kicks and corners right now. I think Malin would be good in a 3 in the middle, with somebody behind him protecting, like Milligan. I don't know if maybe Slivka's the right. I think Malin would need a McGinn beside him.
Do you think
like a McGinn, you know, that box to box,
Yeah.
somebody who'll just chase everywhere and let Malin give him the time and space to play.
Do you think this right midfield position could be a new position for him to kind of once he plays it for a while, sort of develops, or do you think?
No, because he's not got the work rate or the pace to play right midfield.
Hmm.
There's only one player that could play that role that didn't have that, and that was Beckham.
Oh, you
And
actually
there's no-
compared him.
To be
You
fair-
did
to be
compare him to
f-
Beckham at the weekend.
I put the tweet hashtag bend it like Malin, but I can't take credit for that because it's the talking boys
Aye.
Stella mug bend it like Malin. So.
It's not that I'm trying to compare him to Beckham
Yeah.
in any way, but if you're looking at somebody that's right midfield, they need to have pace, and especially with how, I don't want to say unreliable, but how prone David Gray can be to injuries. Could you imagine a right hand side of Whittaker and Malin? That just gives you fear.
You
Works
need
so
somebody
well.
with pace that's going to overlap him if he is going to play there.
Gary Neville never had pace when he was overlapping Beckham. So
No, I think
okay.
with Malin, sorry, just to
No, it's
cap
fine.
on Malin, what he offers us at the moment, I still don't know, and I do fear for him a wee bit with Heckingbottom, because he bought him for Barnsley and then didn't really fancy him. So
Interesting to see what happens.
he
to
needs
him
to show
going
he
forward.
needs to show something a bit different, I think, to show that he's got a long term future at the club.
Scott McKenzie, regular asker questions, has put: should we be trying to spend the rest of this season bleeding in more young players to have them ready for next season, or should we go all out for the top 6?
Well, all at top 6.
Yeah.
Finishing bottom 6 is embarrassing. I'll say it.
What's your thoughts?
Who's the young players that we need to blood? A
I
lot of the young boys have been given.
Yeah, they've been given their chance.
They've been given. Mackey's in and around the first team. Lewis Allen is in and around the first team. Jamie Gullen's been in and around the first team.
Would you guys prefer to see them coming off the bench? Like, say, so like for example, we're 2-0 up with 15 minutes to go, bring them on then rather than when we're trying to win games?
I could do, or keep the first 11 on for as long as they can, get as many goals as we can. I agree with Dave. If we finish in the bottom 6 this season, regardless of what happens in the cup, bottom 6 will be an absolute shambles.
Yeah, following on last season, I did say that one thing I wanted for Heckingbottom was just to enjoy watching football again, because the last couple of months has been crap. But he needs to still. I think bottom 6 is just a failure for the club. You can't just pin it on. You can't really blame it on Heckingbottom. He's got a free hit it, but bottom 6 is embarrassing.
He needs to use this time. Never mind bloodering young players. He needs to figure out who he's going to keep in the summer. So he needs to see as much of that core 17, 18 boys as much as he can until the summer window arrives. Then he can work out who he's keeping, who he's letting go, and who he's bringing in to replace them.
Next question here is Bruce at Brazil 1875. Based on our squad until the end of the season, what's the best formation? A simple 4-4-2. We spoke earlier on about the 4-4-2. Do you think that's a thing for maybe, the Hamilton game, maybe the Dundee game as well, to kind of keep it simple and get back to basics and sort of go from there? Or do you feel that could be the formation for the rest of the season? I mean, you spoke earlier on about the lack of wingers. Does that cause an issue with the 4-4-2?
You didn't need to play width for the sake of playing width. Like, you can, if your wing backs are going to overlap in that, then that's where you get that for. But I would probably say it depends on Ryan Gauld, because you're wanting him to play in the 10 position. So depends how his fitness is for me. Because I think we need to see the best of him, because I want him permanently, but I'm not gonna lie, I've hardly seen him. He's not shown.
How does he fit into a 4-4-2?
Well, that's what I'm saying. He probably doesn't.
I think he fits off the right.
Yeah,
That's
you
where,
put him right.
that's where he was most. That's where he made his name at Dundee United, wasn't it? Maybe we are.
that was more of a 3 though.
I know.
With one up top,
I know.
so he didn't have that defensive responsibility.
Say Malin can't play that role because he's got no pace, and then say I'll play Gauld there.
I don't know. He's got a bit of pace about him.
Gould's a wee bit more zippy.
He's a bit,
like,
he's a bit more nimble and a bit more agile, but he's still not got that Agipong Boyle
No.
burst of pace. I'd completely forgot about Gauld.
Yeah,
I genuinely forgot about him.
he's what I've been looking forward to the last couple of games. I'm like, I hope he's playing. He's just not been playing. Obviously, they're shutting up with him, but.
And then the final question we've got here is from Blair Gibb. Heckingbottom has said he wants to bring a high press / attacking style to Hibs. With the current Hibs squad and ageing defence, do you think that he has the players to pull that off? Or do you think that's going to be more next season once he can bring in some players? Or, whilst the recruitment team that he agrees to can bring in some players?
If you've got a sitter, you can play a high press anyway. If you've got somebody sitting in front, it's just about your midfield's work rate. So you need a midfield with a better work rate than what we've got now. You can't play that way. I can't really see us playing. You imagine Malin doing like a McGinn job on like Celtic, and you know what I mean?
He'd be blown after about 40 minutes.
Can't imagine Horgan lasts 70 minutes in a football match. I've not seen him doing in a full match in a wee while.
Aye.
So
the good thing about that, like you're saying with the sitter, is that if Milligan's the one who's going to be the sitter, if the high press doesn't work and we're toiling for a bit, he easily just slots into a back three.
Yeah.
As much as I want to avoid going back to a back three, that's where he plays for Australia as the Australia captain. We're used to playing with 3 at the back, so it does give us a wee bit of flexibility as well, in terms of, you have the 3 and then you have Gray and Stevenson bombing down the flanks as wing backs. But we do, to play a high press, I'm going to say again, you need a McGinn type.
Yeah.
You need a McGinn who'll literally chase and charge everything down.
So in answer to the question, no.
Well, Canada now, no. Probably no. You seen McNally create his own chance at the weekend?
Yeah.
Created his header, like came in and you were like, oh, it's good to see you have a bit of bite. He came back to halfway line, grabbed the ball, and then didn't they just stand and admire, oh, I won the ball back. He turned away and sprinted to the box, and he was the one that had the header. So you need that work rate. You can't have one player doing it and then another 3 no. As soon as there's one no doing it, that's the chain away.
Aye. Well, interesting to see the Dundee game, whether we change the lineup or sort of go for the same sort of thing, and that'll kind of maybe give us a bit more insight in terms of where we're going the rest of the season. So yeah, thank you very much, guys, for taking the time to chat about Hibs tonight.
No worries.
I should say talk about Hibs tonight because it's Hibs talk and, you know,
That's
branded and all that sort of stuff. Aye.
I would change it to Hibs chat then.
I think that's taken.
Is it?
You wouldn't catch me taking somebody else's name. Aye. So what in terms of, you know, what you guys up tonight? He's watching the Liverpool game tonight.
Aye,
Listen,
if I get
Gav,
him in time.
You can ask me as many times as you want, and I'll smile at you when I say it. You're not getting any more out of me. Me and Dave have agreed a position, and we're sticking to it.
Right, we'll leave it there, folks. I think we're not going to get much more out of these guys. Right, thank you for listening, and cheers for coming along, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.